He was standing at the edge of the water with a 4-year-old on his hip, and tears running quietly down his face, thinking that this was supposed to be a happy day. The beach was full of families laughing, children chasing waves, couples walking hand in hand, and there he was, Marcus, 34 years old, alone in every way that mattered, holding his daughter Lily like she was the only solid thing left in a world that had been slowly crumbling beneath his feet for 2 years straight. He hadn't planned to cry. He never planned to cry. But Lily had looked up at him with those enormous brown eyes, pointed at a young mother nearby, and asked in her sweet and completely innocent voice, "Daddy, why don't I have a mommy who stays?" And something inside him broke open right there in the salt air, quiet and devastating, the kind of break that doesn't make a sound but leaves everything rearranged. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the kind of love that finds you when you're not even looking, hit that like button right now, share this video with someone who needs to hear it today, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel Kindness so you never miss a story like this. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We want to know you're out there. Marcus had been a single father since Lily was 2 years old, when his wife Elena left, not for someone else, not for any dramatic reason the world would easily understand, but simply because she said she wasn't ready for the life they had built together. She walked out on a Tuesday afternoon while Lily was napping, left a note on the kitchen counter, and never came back. Courts, paperwork, the long, hollow silence of a house that used to hold laughter. Marcus survived all of it. He kept going because Lily needed him to keep going. That was the only reason some mornings, and it was enough. He worked as a mid-level project coordinator at a corporate consulting firm. Steady, respectable work, but not the kind that made him feel alive. He was good at it, organized and reliable, always the one who stayed late when others went home. His coworkers liked him well enough but didn't really know him. His boss, however, a woman named Claire Harrington, the firm's regional director, had always unsettled him in a way he couldn't quite explain. She was composed, precise, commanding in every room she entered. She had a reputation for being fair but demanding. Marcus had worked under her for 3 years and could count on one hand the number of personal conversations they had shared. She was his boss. He was her employee. The distance between them felt as wide and permanent as an ocean. So when he looked up from the waves that Saturday afternoon, still steadying his breathing after Lily's question had undone him, and saw Claire Harrington standing 20 feet away on the same beach, he thought for a brief, panicked moment that he was imagining things. She wasn't in her usual sharp blazer or behind her glass-walled office. She was in a simple blue sundress, her dark hair loose around her shoulders, holding a pair of sandals in one hand and looking out at the water with an expression he had never seen on her face at work. She looked quiet, almost sad, completely human. He might have turned away, he almost did, but Lily, who had no concept of professional hierarchy or the complex social geometry of adults, spotted the woman staring at the ocean and announced loudly, "Daddy, that lady looks lonely." And before Marcus could say a word, his 4-year-old daughter was already toddling across the sand toward Claire Harrington with the fearless certainty that only very young children possess. Marcus followed quickly, apologies forming on his lips, but Claire had already crouched down to Lily's level, and the sight of it stopped him mid-step. His composed, corporate, unreadable boss was kneeling in the sand in her sundress, and she was smiling. Not the professional, measured smile she wore in conference rooms, but something warm and unguarded and real. Lily was chattering about the shells she had collected and showing them one by one with great seriousness, and Claire was listening with her full attention, responding to each shell like it was genuinely wonderful, and something in Marcus shifted quietly and without warning. They ended up sitting together on the sand as the afternoon stretched long and golden around them. Lily fell asleep against Marcus's arm, exhausted from the sun and the waves, and in that stillness Claire told him something he had never expected to hear from her. She told him that she came to this beach every year on this particular weekend because it was the anniversary of losing her son, a baby she had carried for 6 months before losing him, years ago, before she had built the career and the composed exterior and the life she now lived inside of. She said she came here to sit with the grief, not to run from it. She said that watching Marcus with Lily, the way he held her, the tenderness that was so obvious even from a distance, it had made her chest ache in a way that was equal parts pain and gratitude. And then she said the thing that changed everything. She looked at him steadily, the way she sometimes looked at a problem she was determined to understand, and she said that she had noticed him for a long time, not as an employee but as a person. She said she had watched him navigate the hardest kind of life with a kind of quiet dignity that she found, without knowing quite how to say it, extraordinary. She said that she had kept her distance because she was his superior and because she believed in doing things the right way, but that sitting here now, on this beach, with his daughter's shells scattered between them and the ocean making its endless sound, she felt the strange and terrifying urge to stop being careful for just one moment. Marcus didn't speak right away. He looked at this woman he thought he knew, the authority, the distance, the impressive professional shell, and he saw instead someone who had carried loss quietly for years, who had built strength from heartbreak the same way he had, who had been alone in crowds just like him. He felt something open in his chest that had been closed for so long he had almost forgotten it was there. He told her about Lily's question by the water. He told her about the Tuesday afternoon with the note on the counter. He told her about the mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain, and how Lily's voice saying good morning, Daddy was always, without exception, the rope that pulled him up. He didn't try to be impressive or careful or professional. He was just honest, the way people are honest when they've finally found someone who makes honesty feel safe. They watched the sun go down over the water together, Lily still sleeping between them, the shells lined up in a small and perfect row. If this story has touched something in your heart, if it reminded you that love finds us in the most unexpected places, that grief and joy can exist in the same moment, that a single conversation on a beach can change the entire direction of a life, then please like this video, share it with someone who needs to believe in second chances today, and leave a comment below. Your engagement means more than you know, and it helps this story reach the people who need it most. What happened next did not happen quickly, because real things rarely do. Marcus and Claire chose honesty over convenience. She stepped back from his direct chain of command, they moved slowly, they let trust build the way trust actually builds, which is quietly and over time. But what began on that beach with a 4-year-old and a handful of shells became, in the months that followed, the kind of love that neither of them had believed was still available to them. The kind that doesn't ask you to be anyone other than who you are. Before this story ends, drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever met someone in an unexpected place who changed your life? We read every single comment, and your story matters to us. Lily, for her part, still had her shells. She kept them in a little jar on her windowsill, and every time Claire came over and Lily showed her the jar, Claire would look at each one like it was the most wonderful thing she had ever seen, because some of the most important moments of her life had started with exactly that: a lonely woman on a beach, a fearless little girl, and a father who had been quietly, unknowingly, beautifully worth finding all along.